we interviewed Cluso shortly before he passed away, R.I.P. He told a story that I had, up until that point, I had never heard before. Since then, have heard it in various conversations and podcasts and things like that. But Kiki from the R0LLN 30s allegedly had an issue, came up to Kelly Park looking for the Bloods who were talking about him disrespectfully. And we all know that you have a verse on, I believe it should have been a B-Dog, right?
And the little EK ride at the end.
Okay.
I go at them.
There was this gangbanger named Big Kiki, and Big Kiki was Kiki Loco's big homie. He was from R0LLN 30s. He came all the way to Compton and came on the video shoot and was saying he was looking for Red Rum or BK because he said, I'm gonna kill them niggas.
Wow.
And he said, I need to find them niggas because I'm finna kill them niggas because they diss 30s, they diss Harlem, and I need that. And he had his pistol in his hand. He was like, nigga, anybody that got anything to do with that situation, he said, I know y'all all Crips, he said, but nigga, any niggas that got to do anything to do with them two niggas, I need that right now. And he was walking around with his pistol looking for anybody that he knew that was on that project that could have been a Blood that might have happened to show up. Luckily, no Bloods was there, so he didn't have to kill anybody. But I mean, he was like, we own that. We need him.
Yeah, you were going at them pretty heavy. And anyone who doesn't know N.O.T.S, they were doing it on the streets also. Man, so much True Blue and so is that story true, that to the best of your knowledge that someone came and looked at that
he said it's a true story, but he said it wrong. They didn't come to study. Why would they come to study?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
We wasn't. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Why would we be at that? You know what I'm saying? Even though they threw me in a little video, but that was a clip from the first Banging on Wax. But so this is the story. We were doing Pyro Love. No, we was doing, what was it? Was it Pyro Love? No, it couldn't have been Pyro Love. It had to be. It was the Banging on Wax song when we did that video. So I guess, you know what I'm saying? Because by the time we started doing the video, the album was already circulating in the streets. So when we did the first video, we just invited Bloods and Crips from all over LA. You know what I'm saying? We put the word out like, no set tripping. It's going to be police. It's going to be security. Like, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Whatever y'all do, it can't be no set tripping. So for some reason, I don't know, we didn't have social media, nothing back then, but the word had got out. And then people, you know what I'm saying? Everybody liked that album. So they was like, shit, I want to be a part of it. So everybody came to the video shoot hella deep. It's just Bloods and Crips from all over LA. So, you know what I'm saying? You had niggas flamed up, blued up, but it was respectful. It was like, it was the truth, like after the truth. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't even talked about. You know, they got the news clipping or whatever. But if you see the news clipping, you see we was doing a skit where we coming together straight dissing each other. Like, nigga, on some real shit, just coming to, we meeting in the middle, everybody banging on each other. Bang your set, bang your hood, this, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And we it's like, you know what I'm saying, the scene in Colors, you know what I'm saying, where the Bloods and Crips come in. But that was like a real, like, everybody was it was real gang members, and niggas was like, fuck it, we'll do it. And you know what I'm saying? So niggas did that part. As soon as they say cut, niggas just laughing and shit like it wasn't nothing. So yeah, so
okay. So all right, this album drops. You know, Pyro Love is huge. I remember seeing it on the
you know what? I'm sorry. I was telling you about how Kiki came.
Oh shit, my bad, dog. Thank you.
Yeah, we
thank you,
right over that.
Yeah,
so, my bad. So anyway, like I said, we was doing the video. So security came and got me, and then my brother like, what's going on? They're like, oh, this dude want to holler at Lil CK. So I'm like, who is it? Like. They're like Kiki Loco. I was like, oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? I'm young. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what come out my mouth. I'm just wilding. So I go over there and see what he talking about. He like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you diss my hood. Woo, woo. You diss me. Woo. So I'm like, man, your homies was dissing all Bloods all across LA. What you talking about? You know what I'm saying? I was like, I don't know, because it was Big Kiki. So when he said who he was, I'm like, you know what I'm saying? You was dissing. I'm like, you was dissing niggas all across LA. Woo, woo, woo. But it was like bodyguard. It was like not bodyguard, but it was like security, all kind of standing between us. But I'm just like, you know, talking to him man to man, like, your homies was dissing. Woo woo. He like, well, that ain't me. So you said Kiki Loco. You didn't say Little Keke Loco. So I'm like, I don't know who y'all are. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just coming at the person that was coming at everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Coming at us. So he's like, all right, respect. But he like, I'm Big Kiki. You know what I'm saying? You know, so you got a problem with me, you let me know. Woo, woo, woo. So, you know, I'm like, man, look, it is what it is. You know, whatever. You know, we shook hands or whatever. He's like, I'm like, you know, I ain't tripping on you. It's your little homie. You know what I'm saying? He spoke up. He did, and you know, it's gonna be a response. It's gonna be a response one day. You know what I'm saying? It just happened that we just happened to get this deal at this time, and they was like, they really told us to go after the Crips on the record. That's what they told us, but we was sliding shit in. Like, we want to go after niggas that was coming at everybody, which was True Blue. So that's kind of like how we start getting on the Crips. And then my brother, he went at Snoop because Snoop on one of them box talks or whatever, they had asked him like, hey, what that LBC stand for on your shirt? And he was like, Long Beach Crip. So my brother like, well, we all was like, damn. And then, you know, so my brother, we just trying to go at all the Crip rappers in the gang. Even though we was cool and like, we knew Battle Cat, Corrupt, we knew, you know, a lot of Crips, but you know, they knew where we was coming from. You know what I'm saying? We were just trying to represent our side and let the world know. You know what I'm saying? It's another side to this.
Gangster rap has become incredibly popular and profitable by selling lyrics about black-on-black violence to a young mainstream audience that wouldn't dream of going anywhere near a ghetto.
The year was 1993. At this time in my life, I was fully in love with hip-hop, mainly gangster rap. Around this time, Bangin' on Wax was released. This was a collaboration album between Bloods and Crips, which was formed in hopes of squashing the gang violence that terrorized our LA streets during this period.
A city defined by fame and glamour, but like any other, Los Angeles has its dark side. And what lies beneath in the City of Angels, in the words of one crime writer, is as bad as there is.
Not long after the release of Bangin' on Wax, I came across a tape while looking for music at my local swap meet. The tape was blue and appeared to have Crips on the cover. Out of curiosity, I asked the Asian gentleman who ran the store to pop the tape in. As I'm listening, I hear a song called Bustaz on Wax.
Fuck Bustaz on Wax, you know what I'm saying? That niggas ain't real with that shit, you know what I'm saying? Boy, niggas listen their life to make this shit, you know what I'm saying? Trying to get paper. Spitting this real shit. Y'all niggas come floss in the game, try to get y'all little cut. Mark ass niggas.
Wait, are they dissing the members of Bangin' on Wax? And who is this white guy on the cover? I had to have this tape. That tape was True Blue 2. At that time, I was unaware that there was even a part 1. I was fully intrigued by this group N.O.T.S, aka is off the street. I paid the Asian dude and headed out the door. I bumped that tape 24 hours a day for the next week. In a lot of the songs, I heard them repping a gang called R0LLN 30s Crips. Wait, there are Crips in Harlem, New York? See, kids, this was before the internet, and I had no idea that these guys were right from my own backyard. I was living in the eastern part of LA, which to a child was a world away from South Central. I thought they were from some new Crip set in Harlem, New York that I never heard of. I was wrong. The Westside R0LLN 30s Harlem Crips, also known as the Dirt Gang, are a long-standing black street gang from West Los Angeles, California. Their history makes them one of the oldest Crip gangs on the West Side. Kiki Loco, the white boy I spoke of earlier, was actually albino. I had no idea what an albino was at that age, but I knew one thing. Dude was dope on the mic. This tape will always have a special place in my heart. No knock on Bangin' on Wax, but N.O.T.S at that time seemed more authentic to me. A little scarier, if you will. They went on to release 3 tapes in the True Blue series, and I bought all 3. After that, Kiki Loco released some music here and there, but soon disappeared from the music scene.
I don't know if you're familiar with the True Blue dudes, like Kiki Loco and the 30s.
Yeah.
Like, that's what made us really, that's what really made Amp really keep it clean. That's the shit really amped me up because them had just my hood. They did a roll call of all their enemies and shit like that. And they just, us and English families were rhyming words. And I heard it because somebody was like, hey man, it's like, hey man, you gotta hear this shit. You niggas dissing and woo-woo. Now, I didn't have a problem with the dissing. I like gangster shit. So I didn't have a problem with the song and all that. But when I heard my hood got dissed, that is like, okay, we on it. So I'm dissing back because I'm a real gangster. So I was like, I wish I would if these bitch ass, this my motherfucking hood. Like, I come on some type of mark ass. So that's why we got a wide on their motherfucking ass. That's why we made that song True Fluke Killer, specifically for them, having us up like that. Now, y'all want to diss everybody else, they cool with that shit, that's what them is. But you ain't never about to get away with dissing us, so that's how we was feeling about that shit. So we had to know not only is we dissing, but if you pay this shit to my lyrics, I called out Kiki Loco specifically, told him he was a bitch ass, straight the fuck up, you feel me? I didn't play no games with that. True Fluke Killer, nigga, don't ever diss the motherfucker said, nigga. So, and I still mean that to this motherfucking day. I'm not taking none of that shit back because I meant that at that time. Now, do I hate Kiki Loco in present time? No, I don't. If I was to see Kiki Loco right now, would I shake his hand like a man? Yes, I would. But in 1995, it was that bitch ass nigga. But right now, I don't look at it like that no more because, you know, we was all going through shit, you know what I'm saying? But that dissed the hood and had us up, and I got on that period point blank. But that's kind of like, I'm trying to give you an idea of what was going on, the mentality level of the music, and why we was doing the shit we was doing. You feel what I'm saying? There was a lot of shit going on.
Yeah, it was getting real. Yeah, it definitely got real. Leak was telling the story as well.
And we was the birds that were going for that sucker shit. Period. And I still not going for no sucker shit. You know what I'm saying?
Man, yeah, that was an interesting time in hip hop, man. So after that drop, you know, you're finding out there's 500,000 sold, 1 million sold here and there. You know, is it safe to say, like everyone else, that, you know, the money situation wasn't right? Not trying to get in your pockets, but you know what I mean? Was that whole situation not?
No, I'm glad you asked me this, because you asked me some real shit right now. Just like everybody else, when we was young, wanted to be just heard, you know, rushed to do shit, wasn't giving a fuck about the contract, because you got to keep in mind, everybody kind of like, you know, want to be famous if you into some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? That's really the main thing, to go be famous and known and all that. So even though you want the money too, but it was kind of like whatever came first. So just so happened the fame came first. And yeah, they was playing with the bread. I'm into that shit as we speak. I'm not going to go out into it with the names family like that. You know, Ronnie Ron, rest in peace. I don't know who the fuck was playing with the bread. They all could have been playing with the bread. Some of my homies that was in that shit was playing with the bread. I don't know what the fuck when I was in jail, but yeah, it was foul play involved, so I will say that. Somebody can get some bitch ass shit with the bread. But the thing now is, I would say the good thing about that is, now I know what not to be doing no more. I know that when I do something, make sure that the paperwork aspect is correct. All the, you know, the I's dotted, T's crossed, all that kind of shit before I jump out there on some wild course. Because I don't want to be more famous than rich. Because I know I got the potential to be probably one of the hardest in the game. So if I'm one of the hardest in the game, that's a fact. But I don't like not getting my motherfucking grades. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm not about to play that game, big boy.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing
Straight
that, man.
up.
Yeah.
Straight up. Yeah, they worked for so I did get some money out their ass, though. Don't get it twisted, though. You know, so I wasn't going for that bullshit. I didn't get my full issue, but I was, based on gangsterism at that time, like, I got rent coming up, all kind of shit. This money run me in 3 G's. I ain't trying to shit, nigga. So every month, when they was bullshit, I was running like 3 G's in just on gangsterism. Like, y'all better run me something, right motherfucking there. Y'all got me f***ed up. Niggas already knew I was selling records and shit. So I wasn't trying to hear that bullshit, you feel me? So they did work with me because I wasn't going for that bullshit as an individual. But no, I didn't get my fair share. Didn't nobody get their fair share. The whole crew is resting in peace, with the exception of me and my relative Pimp D, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. But then nobody still to this day, they never paid for no funerals. You know, we never got no, you know, we appreciate what y'all did for us. We didn't, there's all kind of shit that took place. But at the same time, I'm back now. I'm not even worried about that shit, though. I'm about to move forward. Yeah. I'm just glad that my name is out there, that I can move forward. See, that's the best thing.
Oh, that's the best thing, right? You have a legacy, man.
That's the best thing going, that my name is a name, brand name, on some gangster shit. And unfortunately, that's what it comes with that. But this time I'll be on some positive gangster shit.
Talk to me about your involvement with N.O.T.S, Niggas Off the Street, Kiki Loco, and that whole camp over there.
Okay, well, for some of you guys that don't know, you know, before like the Death Row era and all that, there was a viable underground scene for rap. Okay, so you had people like you had N.O.T.S, that was Niggas Off the Street, Kiki Loco. Then you had Banging on Wax, you know, Ronnie Ron, Tweety Bird Loc, and then, you know, Familia Records with the Chicano scene. We also had Hoodlum Records. You know, we were doing a lot of underground stuff. And like we had a group, First Amendment out of Inglewood, and that's Mac 10 came out of that group.
Squeak Crew, Binky Mac.
Yeah. So we were working together. Rock Slinger. We had some underground stuff, and then Kiki Loco. Okay, he was real big on the streets also. So he was like, you know, the first. I guess they argue Banging on Wax or Kiki Loco who was the first, but I'd say, you know, they both were out there. You know, so. But Kiki Loco was out, you know, representing, you know, Kiki Loco go to the swap meet, you know, just all blued up, just, you know, and so it was just, you know, it was like a different time. And so Kiki was doing this thing on the streets, pushing the records, like Ron, Tweety Bird Loc out there, just, you know, pushing it. You had me. And I say
we Tweety Bird Loc, man, that 187 drive-by. Whew.
Yeah. You said R.I.P.
To Tweety Bird Loc. Tweety Bird Loc, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, Tweety Bird Loc passed away.
Oh man, yeah,
it's all good. Yeah. No worries. Yeah. I got his tape at there was Underworld Records on Alondra and Castlegate in Compton. Yeah, shout out to Big A, man, Big Arnold. That's my dog. That was an interesting time. N.O.T.S, you know, did you have any involvement in the True Blue series? And what do you remember about them going after Banging on Wax with that song Bustaz on Wax?
Well, you know, they didn't necessarily get along, the two different groups, you know, two different, I guess, factions of the gangster rap there. So, you know, basically they just didn't get along. So probably went deeper, you know, into street stuff. But me and, you know, Kiki Loco were real tight. You know, me and Banging on Wax and
Sin Loc, all those dudes, man.
Yeah, I was more, you know, with Ron and Tweety Bird Loc. So because we formed the underground, you know, the underground was me, it was them Banging on Wax, it was Kiki Loco. So that was it for us.
That's
the
right.
LA scene, you know. And so eventually me and Kiki Loco worked together, you know.
What do you remember about that project gaining a buzz, the True Blue series with Metro, you know, and
like those songs, man, are just, you know,
classic LA.
Gangster, you know?
Yeah.
And I think I-Rock produced a lot of that. Brian Dobbs, you know, I'm sure if you're familiar with Brian Dobbs, he was the guy with the big afro and the Coolio videos.
Oh, okay.
So when we started actually working, so me and Brian Dobbs were producing the music first, you know. And so I guess he would go and produce Coolio. And actually Coolio's hit track, County Line, was supposed to be for Spanish Fly.
Really? How'd that go about that?
But Rich Rock didn't go to the studio that day.
Really?
So Coolio ended up doing it. So we were all working, you know, Coolio's studio there.
Okay.
Rascas.
Been on my show a few times, man. That's the boy.
And Brian Dobbs was like the, you know, he was the foundational producer.
I got to talk to Brian Dobbs. I definitely got to talk to him.
Yeah. So, and so, you know, that's how we kind of formed, you know, the underground scene.
Damn, dude.
Shout out to Kiki Loco and shout out to N.O.T.S. Before I interviewed Murray Brumfield, I had no idea he had a connection
with one of the first tapes that made me fall in love with West Coast hip hop. The Bustaz on Wax tape. N.O.T.S. Niggas Off the Street. One of my favorite songs on there was Metro. Come on and go with me. Come on over to my train. I think they were talking about busing a train on a female, but back then in my innocent years, I didn't know what they were talking about. I just loved the groove. I just loved the music. And it's really, really cool that it's such a small world that Murray Brumfield has a connection to N.O.T.S. And shout out to Kiki Loco. A lot of stories out there about the infamous Kiki Loco. He went hard on all the Banging on Wax dudes. I interviewed a few people associated with Banging on Wax, and they confirmed that Kiki Loco pulled up to a video shoot to confront some of the people from Banging on Wax. And man, I'm telling you, what an interesting story that was. Thank you for tuning in to DustyVisionTV. Please hit that like button if you have not already. And if this is your first time joining the channel and you like what you hear, please hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed this video, you just might appreciate this bonus clip I'm about to play for you right now. Tupac told us years ago, it wouldn't be LA without Mexicans. My question for you today is, would hip hop still exist if it weren't for Mexicans? Latinos, to be exact. I got to include everyone in this conversation. If Latinos didn't exist, would hip hop have survived? I don't think so. I'm bringing this question up because I recently interviewed Mr. C of R0LLN Posse. And the conversation of Latinos supporting hip hop came up.
Yeah. Now, you just said something. I was just having this conversation the other day. I was down in LA. I went to the car show Saturday night, and I didn't even know, I don't know how it slipped past me, that Quick and Snoop and some other folks had a concert at the Peacock Theater.
Right. Yeah, we were supposed to be on that one. Mm-hmm.
And I was telling my Unknown was down there hanging out, and like, man, they got a show tonight. And we just noticed that majority of the crowd was not black. And
oh, yeah, Latino. They buy. They love that old school music, man. They breed their kids on it.
I was telling Unknown, I said, without the Latinos, West Coast hip hop would not be the same, man.
Let's chew on that for a little while. Without Latinos, West Coast hip hop wouldn't be the same. I'm going to expand it and say, if it weren't for Latinos, hip hop, period, wouldn't be the same. A lot of black folks try to downplay the Latinos' contribution to hip hop at the beginning in the 70s. And I find that very, very frustrating and interesting. You have a group of new people in their 20s and 30s who watched a documentary 8 months ago, and now they're telling me that Latinos didn't help in the creation of hip hop. But that's not the story for today. I've done several videos on that. If you want to go down that rabbit hole, check out my videos in my archives about the Latinos' contribution to hip hop in the beginning, helping black folks create hip hop. Yes, I truly believe Latinos were right there, right by the side of the black folks, helping create this beautiful genre culture that we call hip hop. But Alonzo Williams, my co-host, and Black C of R0LLN Posse say that West Coast hip hop wouldn't be the same without Latinos.
At all. At all. Man, people eating right now.
Huh?
They keep us eating right now. Without them, it's for surely no RBL without them. You can't say.
He said they keep us eating. The Latinos keep RBL Posse, a black group, legends in this game, Bay Area legends, San Francisco legends. Don't give me no Bam or weed. We don't smoke that shit in the SFC. I mean, we know that song, right? Lesson to be learned. I got a bluebird on my shoulder. Should I kill? I mean, come on now. West Coast legends. If you know about your West Coast hip hop, you know about RBL Posse. And this man right here is saying that if it wasn't for Latinos, RBL Posse wouldn't be eating to this day. RBL Posse released their first album in 1992, and they are still eating off that album to this day, thanks to the Brown homies. But let's keep it going.
Say nothing bad about any type of Latin hip hop to me. We might go to war, about them. Man, the way they go crazy about RBL and love.
He said, don't say anything bad about the brown folks around him. He said he'll go to war about that. He said he'll go to war about that. Don't say anything bad about the brown homies around Black Sea from RBL Posse.
Us, man, I feel the same way, man, about that. I embrace that fan base to the heart, man. They buy all my merch. They support me nonstop when I drop my book.
Niggas ain't buying merch. Black folk, we'll buy merch off of Amazon, like the fake shirt, not the one that's directly supporting the artist. Oh man, nah, that shit's $35, man. I can get that online for $20, and you'll go online, or you'll go to the swap meet or something, and get a fake RBL Posse shirt instead of supporting the man right here who's at the show. Latinos buy merchandise. When I go to hip hop shows, try this out. Because I've been to 1,000, and I'm not even exaggerating, way more than 1,000 hip hop shows in my life. Go to the merch table and see who's buying stuff. Especially if you live on the West Coast like I do. Go to the merch table and just take a gander of who's buying stuff. It's going to be the brown homies supporting, buying that Mac 10 shirt, buying that sugar-free hat. Huh? Buying that RBL Posse bracelet. I don't know. I couldn't think of anything else.
Man, I done sold over 1,000 copies, and I look at where's
1,000 copies of his book. Black Sea has a book out, and he sold 1,000 copies of his book.
Heart, man. They buy all my merch. They support me nonstop when I drop my book. Man, I done sold over 1,000 copies, and I look at where it's getting shipped to, and I look at the names, and about 80% of it is mainly Latino.
This man released a book, sold 1,000 copies. That's awesome, dog. Like, I was just doing the math in my head. Even if you sell it at $10 a pop, you got your money back tenfold. $20 a pop even. He looks at the address. Where is it going? He looks at the last name. Sandoval, Rodriguez, Jimenez. 80% of the people who are buying his book, helping him continue to feed his family 32 years after he released his first album, are the brown homies. So once again, my question for you: would hip-hop be the same as we know it? Would it have existed? Would it have survived without the brown homies? Here's a man right here, legend right here, 32, 33 years in the game, telling you it wouldn't have happened.
You know what I mean? So, man, I love them to death, man. They love that era. They love old school. I don't care if it's soul music, funk, rap, 90s. They support. They come out. They love a gumbo mix. They could put us they could put RBL with R0LLN Champagne King and Confunction and and DJ Quick, and they love it. They gonna come sold out. You can get them a gumbo, and that's what they want.
That's facts, dude. There's RBL Posse right there. Black C, the only original member left, because the other two unfortunately had their lives taken from them at very young ages. But Black C, to this day, is feeding his family off money that the brown man is giving him. You can't tell me nothing bad about my brown homies, dog. You can't tell me nothing bad about my brown people, especially when it comes to hip hop. And you know what? Throughout my many ventures, my small business ventures, whatever I've done on the side, legally and illegally, most of my clientele were Hispanics. That's right. I'm going to leave that there. Comment down below. What do you think about Black C from RBL Posse saying, if it weren't for Latinos, this thing we called hip hop would not be the same. Please hit that like button if you haven't already. And if this is your first time joining the channel and you like what you hear, please hit that subscribe button. What are your thoughts on courts using rap lyrics to lock people up?
Well, it's funny that you say that, because they use the rap lyrics against me as well. You know, I had,
please tell us that story. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Well, I had I had a song called "On the Run," and so I had mentioned some things about the person who I was accused of shooting, and so when they raided my house, they found those lyrics, and they came to court and read the lyrics and all that old type of stuff, and so I definitely believe I still would have been convicted without the lyrics, but that was just a point that was just another point that the DA wanted to use, I guess, to try to get a conviction. So I definitely think that the rappers nowadays, they got to be smart, because if they can make any type of connection to that, they're definitely gonna use that, because the DA is looking for a conviction. Once he hones in on an individual and he believes that person is guilty, he's gonna do all he can to try to find you guilty. So if he has to bring your rap lyrics in there, he has to bring your mama in there, he's gonna do it. And so dudes definitely need to be smart. And now, with all the time they're given, it's really it's just basically telling on yourself.
R.I.P. Draco, R.I.P. Dolph, Slim 400, Mo3, King Von, FBG. I could literally go on, dog. We'll be here for 30 minutes if I named all the rappers who died, just in the past few years. Why do you think a lot of rappers are dying right now?
Honestly, I believe it's the culture and it's social media. Now that's another thing that I noticed when I came home. It seems like it's cool to be disrespectful. And back in our days, man, we may be out there, hanging out, smoking weed or doing, but we may see the homie's mom come through or the homie's father come through.
Put the weed away, yeah.
Most definitely. We take our hats off, we hide the beer, we speak, all that type of stuff. Now it's just that it's like no one is above being disrespected, and then also with the social media, this spread where, everybody is just cool. It's cool to be disrespectful. And I was talking about that the other day. I don't understand why, these rappers a lot of them is getting big money. And I don't understand, why are you creating beefs for yourself where you can't even enjoy the money? Either you're going to prison or you're going to jail. If you're talking all this stuff, eventually, you're going to run across somebody that you disrespected. And so I don't understand why a person would even put himself in that position. And so to me, it's like they don't have the right people. It's a combination of a few things. They don't have the right people in their corner telling them that this is not the avenue to go down, And like you say, all these rappers who passed away, it's crazy, but it's like they don't realize they're inviting this type of stuff, because after it would seem like after you see six or seven rappers die, going along this path, you would change your path. But, once again, I attribute that to just being young, being dumb, being stupid like I was when I was young. I'm watching everybody go to jail.
And I'm thinking I'm not going to go to jail. I remember telling my father told me, you know, you better be careful. You know, they're giving life for people who being convicted of murder. And I remember I told him, hey, don't worry, Dad, I'm not going to get caught. So it's just, you know, it's a combination of a lot of things, you know, and immaturity is one, you know.
Who runs the prisons out there in Tennessee? Crips, okay.
I can say Crips and probably the GDs, probably Crips and GDs.
Okay.
Crips and GDs, they you know, they took over. They took over a lot of blood. You know, they ain't bloods no more. You know, they ain't bloods no more in the situation. They you know, they slaughtered. They get slaughtered in compounds that they ain't gonna win. They can't win. They ain't winning the fight.
Are you familiar with the way a lot of these rappers are dissing their rivals, dead homies? You know, saying I'm smoking on such and such pack.
Yeah.
Okay, smoking on, and you know, no disrespect, smoking on Tuka. You know, things like that. You've heard that whole thing.
Yeah.
I'm curious what you think about that whole aspect of hip hop. That's taking, you know, dissing to a whole other level when you're actually dissing the dead homies of your rival.
Yeah, when you dissing the dead homies of your rival gang member, or you know, whatever the case may be, I find it very disrespectful. I'll feel the same way. I would get at a person if they diss my dead homies, or you know, they diss my gang, because I you know, I carry myself, you know, respectful way, and also, you know what I'm saying, for my fellow gang members out there and stuff, I honestly, you know, it's like a family. So if I'm being dissed, I'll probably get at you, but I'll take it to another perspective where if I see you, we gonna fight and leave it alone. It ain't too much with me with the gun violence, unless a person take it there where my life is threatened. But if it's fist fight combat, hand on hand combat, I'm down for it.
I'm for rappers squashing beefs in the ring. Put 50,000 each up, and you know, just squash it out in the ring. But unfortunately, you probably know this better than I do, but a lot of these rappers, they just can't fight, which is why they're quick to pull out, you know, a weapon. A lot of people nowadays, period.
Yeah, those are facts, man. It's just, you know, it's we in the time now, my generation now, it's a person is quick to pull a gun than to fight. And it's always been that way for a while now.
Yeah, man. And
I don't too much agree with it, but like I said, I came from my perspective, my side is fighting. That's what I love to do. I like to squabble. That's what I do. So,
what was the general consensus over in your hood when, you know, you found out Nipsey Hussle was murdered by a person from his own set? And how could that have been prevented, if it could have been prevented?
Well, I can't too much, you know, speak on that situation, on that behalf, but, you know, it's like, it shouldn't have happened, and I don't think, you know, it should have happened that way. You know, you got, like I said, you got to live by the code. You live what you preach. So, with that being said, Nipsey was a real one. Nipsey didn't deserve it at all. You know, it's always going to be a wreck, you know, in the crew somewhere. You know, Nipsey did a lot for people. He did a lot for the hood. You know, he did a lot for the brothers out there that wasn't working and, you know, had backgrounds. He deserved that spot. So people can, you know, to have somewhere to go and have somewhere, you know, they can call their own. So Nipsey, you know, he was a great dude. Like, he was a real one.
Yeah, he was a real one. Yeah, he was a real one, man. I like Nipsey, man. He had a lot of respect for me, man. And, he a real one, man. He stand on his word. He stand on his word, and then he did for the community something that I'm trying to do now to me to being who I am today and learn from all the mistakes that I did. I'm just out here trying to help my youth and my little homies, man, try to make something better out of themselves. I ain't trying to teach them a negative thing. I'm trying to make them better, man. Well, they ain't got to go through the penitentiary that I went through and see the life that I went through to you know, learn a lesson. I learned a lesson for them.
Why did the 20s pick the Steelers colors? Do you know the story behind that?
It started from the P hat.
Which is what represents
the
what?
Pittsburgh Pirate hat, the regular Pittsburgh Pirate P hat. That during the birth of Insane in the 20s, the Insanes decided to wear Raider colors. They decided to wear Railers to represent. During that time, a lot of neighborhoods picked what color and what professional team they wore those colors to stand for their neighborhood. And usually they picked it, like the Seattle hats got an S on it, so a lot of cats from 60s wear it.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? So they picked colors that they wanted to represent the neighborhood. The Pittsburgh Pirate hat was the first neighborhood hat, because back in the day, the golf hat was the gangster hat.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? If you wore a golf hat, that stood for every neighborhood. That was the gangster hat. You feel me? So to particularize every neighborhood, now it went to what hat, and it started with the hat. And the Pittsburgh Pirate hat was the number one, was the hat chosen, and the color from the Pittsburgh Pirate hat, the black with a little bit of gold.
Okay. Now take me back to 1987. A young Trayvon cripping out in the streets. It's there's a party tonight. It's going down. It's gonna be cracking in Long Beach. Tell me what Trayvon is wearing in 1987. What was a typical gangster attire? You know what I'm saying, for a dude in 1987?
I don't know.
Or maybe a year
I
that's better for you.
out, so my typical attire is gonna be black with a little bit of gold. The only question is what am I wearing black and what am I wearing gold?
What type of shoes? What type of shoes is Trayvon rocking?
I liked it. British Knights. Then I worked for BK's mostly.
Couldn't wear those to school. Yeah, I remember we couldn't wear those to school at all.
I was a big British Knight fan. It was our color coordinated all the way down to the socks. You know what I'm saying? And if anybody, one thing I tell motherfuckers that I sit on here and I talk on the internet and everything else all motherfucking day. And I said that, have you ever heard any one of my homeboys say I'm a faulty, funny nigga that you shouldn't listen to? Anything? I said, you can look at all my comments.
Yep.
And you would never see nobody say that I'm some weirdo, funny bunny motherfucker that ain't. I'm the person who's supposed to be standing up here, because I'm one of the brothers in my neighborhood that's got a shitload of respect. You feel me? And I'll tell you one thing before I say anything else, is that we lost a lot of good family members this year. And I know my hood wasn't the only hood to do it, but man, we lost a lot of good family members this year. It's just getting shorter and shorter and shorter. And I'm just tired of seeing those good people with good qualities get killed for bad shit. 87 though, it was cracking out of control, man. I tell people, you become desensitized to violence. In 1987, you're going to show up to a party and it might be 20 niggas, but it's going to be about 20 insane niggas, because the insanes was at least 4 to 5 times as deeper than us. They were the majority back then. You feel me? Today, you have 20s around the nation. Yeah, we're probably at least 3, 4, 5 times as in numbers as them today. But growing up in the 80s, the insanes were the majority of the gang members. So I tell people, you couldn't be no buster from 20s, because you're going to show up to a party and immediately you the minority. You feel me? Most people want to join the majority, where I'm going to be there and I'm going to be 50 of us and only 10 of you. Well, I'm from the smaller hood, and when I show up, I'm ready to fight, because I'm going to have to fight for mine. I loved it, though. I had to get out of that, because you become desensitized and you start liking violence. You feel me? So that's what I noticed with a lot of individuals out there. When you become desensitized to violence and you no longer have that emotional attachment that's attached to doing it, then, man, you see a lot of negativity out there, and that's what we out here doing. We out here breaking the chains. First you got to open people's eyes to what's going on. You feel me? And you shock them with what's going on. And after you shock them with what's going on, you teach them and try and change that shit, so we don't have the same repetition problems that we've been having since '87.
if you could put a number on it, you know, how many people would you say you lost, you know, be it to death, to jail, to drugs, in regards to this gang life?
Oh man, that's a hard number, man. It's like to the gang life in Nashville. I would say, personally, I know for a fact because there's many more, but personally, probably 7 guys, 7 cats, man, from Nashville that got killed, was murdered, man. It was gang members. As far as Los Angeles, man, personally, probably like 16 or 17, straight up. And not only from 5 deuce, all the way up to the scale from 9 deuce, 9-4, 7-4, 8 tray. And I've been to many funerals, man. That's a fact.
Do you think the average, you know, former active gang member, do you think that they suffer from some sort of PTSD?
In what way? Break it down.
Just so you've seen a lot of stuff. I mean, people go to war overseas in Iraq and they see their, you know, their soldier, their homeboy or whatever, their commander gets his head blown off. You know, they've seen things that keep them up at night, you know, to this day.
Yeah. I may know a few cats like that. It had sometimes been a scare for me like that, man, you know, seeing shit like that, you know. Another reason why I wanted to change around, man. I'm a father, and I had to show a good example to my daughters and my son, man. So that was important to me. And not only that, but to stop the continuation of killing my own kind.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
That's amen on that, man, because we're between them killing us killing us. I mean, we're going to be extinct in, you know, 50 years, man. No BS.
Crazy you said that, because I had a conversation with a friend of mine, homeboy of mine, who's from Long Beach. He grew up in Saints, and I'm actually with that cat right now, you know. But we was having that same conversation, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm glad that you are doing positive nowadays, and especially this documentary. Tell us about this documentary and what we can expect from it.
Well, definitely you're going to see it. It's going to be raw and uncut. You know, I haven't got a title yet, but it's definitely going to show my full lifestyle, man, my whole life, man, from a child and being brought up on the east side of Nashville, and the trouble that I went through, you know, not having a father in the home and getting in trouble at an early age, you know, kind of briefly of what I've been explaining right now in this interview, but more of it. I'm not into dropping no names on my documentary, but for those who know, who's there, who's present, and know the history, they'll know exactly how this shit went down. But a lot, man, you know, I went through a lot, man, and when I decided to make a change in my life, man, you know, and find out exactly who I am as a black man, my whole life started to change, man. You know, so I no longer flash gang signs or, you know, a push gang life, man. You know, now I'm definitely for the betterment of the black race. Definitely a revolutionary for the liberation of the black culture and the black race. So that's where I'm at. 2021, man. That's March the 5th.
That's what we need, homie. That's what we need. And I always kind of like to end this question, you know, the interview with this question. Let's take ourselves to hypothetical world. You know what I'm saying? If you could hypothetically talk to a 14-year-old Lamont right now, talk to the 14-year-old you, what would you tell him?
I would tell him that gang banging is not a lifestyle. It's a death style. And you can't win. And if I could see 20 years in the future. At 14, I would have stopped myself, you know, from the life of crime, period, man. To any other 13 or 14-year-old, man, that may be listening, you know, you may think that it's the thing to do. It's a fad, you know. It's all about being lit and smoking and popping pills. But, you know, we got to understand, man, it's a bigger agenda, man. It's a bigger enemy out there, man, that's trying to smash on us, man, and trying to take us out, you know. And we all got to come together, man, as one. And a lot of these OGs need to step up and speak to the BGs and the young homies and the tinies and the infants and the youngs, you know, the babies and the littles. You know what I'm saying? We got to do that, man. We got to do that. So that's what I hope to see, man. You know, hope that somebody who listens, somebody that's changed, even if it's just one person, man, that changed their mind.
That's it.
You know, that's what I want to do with this documentary, man. After you see this documentary, I want to be able to spark the mind of somebody young, whether if it's a male or female, man, teenager, or even an older person. They may be in their early 20s, man. You know, I want to be able to spark something in them, man, to make them want to change, man. Because that's what it's all about.
Man, we need more people like you in this world, homie, and I really look forward to your documentary, and I hope you and I can stay in touch, maybe even have you back on in a couple months just to catch up and maybe get a little bit, you know, deeper, or go, you know, like I said, try to save some lives, man, because that's what my program is all about in a nutshell. I don't try to glorify shit. I want to reach out to these cats out there via people like yourself who have been through it, who spent time in prison, who got shot at, who saw their friends die. And I want them to think to themselves, is this the life that I really want? Ladies and gentlemen, on the line from Pacific Killers, I have C-Nut. What up, man?
Yo, what up, man? Appreciate you, brother.
Most def. Appreciate the good music you guys been putting out for a minute, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you. That means a lot to us, man. We're hard workers at it. You know what I'm saying? Been doing it for a long time, so that's all we're really looking for is just some recognition. You know?
Yeah, I see it, man. Definitely. Well, let's take it all the way back, man, and then we're gonna work forward and talk about what you have coming up now. But let's go all the way back, man. Tell everybody where you grew up.
All right. So I grew up in Lake Elsinore, California. I was actually born in Detroit. And back in 1980, and then my parents came to Cali. We lived in Orange County for a little minute, and moved from Orange County to Lake Elsinore back in 91. And from there, it's just kind of getting to know who I was, trying to figure out what I wanted to do, all of that. I got into hip hop. I got into music really at a really young age. My pops, he plays the guitar, so I grew up on classic rock, a lot of classic rock. So music is in my blood. All kinds of music is in my blood, and I really appreciated the music that like the early hip hop to me, early hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, the Fushnikins, all of that back in the day. I figured if they could do it, I could do it. So I was copying them, and then before I knew it, I was writing my own lyrics. That's pretty much how it started back in 1993. Yeah. So, and here we are now. So I had a lot of time for growth, you know, a lot of studying, and finally here we are. I think it was 2023. Finally put out our first album, and I'm really happy with the results. You know,
that's what's up, man. Well, let's talk about your time growing up, man. 1991. All right, let's talk about what's the good, the bad, and the ugly about growing up in Lake Elsinore.
I guess the good part about it was, I guess from my parents' point of view, was that, you know, they took us away from all of the ugliness of the violence and all that stuff growing up in Orange County. I know a lot of people look at some parts of Orange County like, oh, it's not that bad, but we did live in a pretty bad area. So I guess that was the good part about it. It kind of made us follow the right footsteps and down the right path and all of that. The bad part about it was that, you know, it wasn't really too much to do. You know, I think I leaned on music a lot, and since I moved out in Lake Elsinore in '91, didn't have too many friends or nothing like that. I think I used music as my place to fall into place with other people and other crowds and stuff. So it was that. I guess that was the bad part about it, right? Because there wasn't too much to do. The ugly part about it is that I fell into gangbanging at a pretty young age. I was tested a lot, being from out of town, and local neighborhoods hit me up. They hit me up a lot, and they were talking. A lot of people was talking a lot of shit. So I figured back then, at a real early age, it was actually back in about '93. I said, you know what? I ain't gonna let this happen. I'm gonna start a neighborhood. Started a neighborhood, and that was the ugly part about it. After that, I saw a lot of the stuff that I regret seeing and doing. Same thing with my parents. They thought that they made the right move by moving us out, and to I guess quote unquote a nicer part of Southern California, but I guess with it not being too populated, and you start like gangbanging and stuff out there, you do a little bit more. And I would call that the ugly part, because I do regret doing a lot of the stuff that I did growing up. And, now I'm trying to make things right, through my music and all that. My music actually has changed from when I first started rapping. I was rapping about, neighborhood stuff. And I quickly realized that people don't really care about where I'm from, or, what neighborhoods I grew, what neighborhood I represented or whatever. Nobody wants to hear that. So I guess it was kind of bittersweet, because growing up and then realizing that, it really changed my perception on life, and I kind of implemented that into my lyrics as I grew older. So, and then especially having a family and all that stuff, you open your eyes, and that's why I say it's bittersweet. It's a beautiful thing right now, because I know that with our music, with my lyrics, I'm able to inspire people, and so with the ugly, I guess, comes some beautiful things,
Yeah, that's dope, man. What was a young C-Note like? C-Note, sorry, C-Nut. I was talking about the homegirl C-Note earlier. Yeah, the young C-Nut like, man. Yeah. What was the young C-Nut like, man?
The young C-Nut, I guess you could say it's in the name. I was quite the nut. You know what I'm saying? I always felt like I had something to prove. So with me starting a neighborhood and all that stuff, I feel like I had to be the hardest around. I did a lot of bad things to some people and stuff like that I regret now. But I was a nut running around, man. I mean, I didn't leave the house without a strap. Went to school strapped up, always ready to get them up, and wasn't scared of nothing. I don't care what happens. I'm down for mine. Just I guess that's the regular mindset of a young neighborhood kid, So, but also with starting a neighborhood, I did learn quickly. I saw a lot of friends fall. I had a lot of homies that got locked up, that died, that got killed, and just went through a lot of stuff. I mean, still to this day, I'm gonna turn 45 in June, so I still got a lot of homies that are still locked up from, back in 90, 97, 96. And, that really changed me though. I was a nut, but then I learned from my mistakes. And since I had that leadership role with starting a neighborhood and all that stuff, I kind of was able to, show my little homies and all that, what the difference is between right and wrong before they went down the wrong path. But I guess the answer to that, the young C-Nut was exactly that. He was a nut. The C, that kind of goes with, where I was from and all that stuff. But the nut, that's that kind of describes my personality. Is I did a lot of dirt.
I do believe that there's got to be credit given to black people with music and stuff, and like for example, with country, right? Country, a lot of people didn't know that was made by black people.
Of
black
course,
people started country.
Yeah, Muddy Waters and all those guys. They created that sound that eventually morphed into country. I mean,
and now that Beyonce is doing country, I don't know if she's doing already country, but I know there was like a big.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Black people shouldn't be doing country, motherfuckers. We invented country. They don't even like dog. All that shit was stolen.
But check this out. She tried to do, or she had in mind to do country a couple of years ago. I don't know, like a lot of people didn't know, or it was in the process. But there was people. I mean, without respect to white people and all that, But you got to give respect to black people, But people were saying that they were making a big fuss, like no, this and that, or she's gonna make country. Come on, But it's like, don't if people let you borrow, like for example, rock and roll, black people made it. But people think it's
Chuck
only
Berry, man. I mean, he was one of the originators, if not the first guy who made. And then who's those guys that did Surfing USA? They end up stealing his shit bar for bar. Beach Boys.
Elvis got a lot of stuff from Little Richie.
All that stuff, homie. They would go to juke joints. They would go to juke joints in like small towns of Tennessee and stuff like that. They go to these little juke joints, what we would call a dive bar, and they would go to these juke joints where these black artists were playing blues that the locals loved. No one else knew about it, but the locals loved. So yes, the white man would go there. He'd bring his little phonograph, or he'd bring something along those lines, and record the music and take it to artists like Elvis Presley and others so they can blow it up.
Like the Elvis Presley movie that they made recently, I couldn't even watch it anymore, but they made it seem like it's like Elvis music was the devil. Oh, that's devil's music. That's devil's music. I'm like, you guys know damn well what you guys are trying to say by devil's music. You know what I mean?
Black people music.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not just trying to disrespect anybody, but at the same time, it does piss me off, when they try to, they don't give recognition, props. So going back to Tariq Nasheed's documentary, bro, like, it's good that he's doing that because people are getting mad. I don't know if Fat Joe's getting mad. People, some Latinos, Puerto Ricans, shout out to my Puerto Rican Latino brothers from the East Coast, nothing against them. It's just, to me, when it comes to culture of popping and stuff, hip hop it's very important to me, So this documentary, I'm not trying to promote it, I don't know Tariq Nasheed, you know what I mean, in person or nothing like that. But it's very important because you should always question things, Then don't ever allow somebody to tell your narrative. And this goes to my Latinos too, you know what I mean? And everybody, not just Latinos. Don't let other people tell your narrative or your culture.
I think Tariq Nasheed is very intelligent. I enjoy his content.
Yeah.
I do believe he is trying to say with his documentary that black people are the sole creators of hip hop. I do believe. If I'm wrong, correct me. But if that is the case, I'm going to have to respectfully disagree with Tariq Nasheed, because I personally believe that Hispanics were there along the way. We don't know who created what first. We don't know who created this first. We can go back 100 years and just keep saying that was the first time someone rhymed together, and the first time someone did a backslide, and the first time someone did this or that. We can go back years. But I know too many Puerto Ricans, too many Dominicans, especially in their 50s and 60s, and people forget that the Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, they come in all different colors.
I do believe there was like a huge influence. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? There was without Puerto Ricans, they wouldn't have been the what it is. You know what I mean?
And I just think I don't like the fact that they're just completely. And I think, if I'm mistaken, once again, for Tariq Nasheed, forgive me, but I think he's literally trying to cut them out completely. If that's the case, then I got to respectfully disagree, because we don't know. Going back then, like, I know Puerto Ricans who are darker than my father, who is about as black as Wesley Snipes, and I know Dominicans who are darker. So, and people forget Dominicans and Puerto Ricans, a lot of them identify as black.
I knew Chabadu, rest in peace, because that came to mind, you know what I mean? And I'm not trying to get him involved, He
His last name is Quinones.
Quinones, yeah. I think if he would have been here with us, he would have been able to tell us like the true history behind it.
If you look at a picture of him, he looks like a light-skinned black man. You know what I'm saying? But his last name is Quinones. I just can't completely cut out my Latino homies out of this one, man. I love my black brothers. I love myself. I love hip hop, and I know just even for me going back, all the ways that I got introduced to hip hop was through Latinos.
And I might say, I'm not trying to discredit going against that. And there is a huge influence, you know what I mean? And I'm with you on that. Like if he's trying to erase the Latinos from there, be like, oh, it was only us and this and that. That's that's a different.
Yeah. But shout out to Tariq Nasheed. I'm looking forward to that documentary. I'm because I'm just a hip hop lover. I love hip hop, so I can't wait.
The guy's funny, man. The guy's funny, entertaining, and a lot of not controversial stuff, but he's got his thing. He's got his thing going on.